turning around the sector. Another issue which cropped up is that because tariff has always been an issue, and there are vulnerable sections of the society who don't want to pay a very heavy tariff for electricity, and generally electricity has been, like water, has been considered a free good or public good. It's not considered a market good. So there were issues related to getting the full cost recovery, and the regulator, since you had started a market-based reform, the regulator was tied between market-based power sector and also ensuring that the consumer is not burdened with a high cost of power tariff. So what he used to do is, he would not disallow the revenue. He would not disallow the revenue, but he would say that this revenue I will give you as regulatory asset. That means this, I am allowing your cost, but this cost will not be given in this particular year. It will be allowed to be recovered in next 3 to 4 years. So a new kind of current asset came in the balance sheet, which is unheard of and which is unique to the regulatory sector or power sector, and that came to be known as regulatory assets. Now, many of these utilities with these regulatory assets started going to the banks and financial institutions, asking for money. Now the bankers were quite puzzled because they were not used to this kind of technology, nor it finds any mention in any financial parlance. But gradually they have all got used to. And financing of regulatory asset has become a common method of financing working capital in power sector. And going forward, it's not a bad model at all. Though, initially it does affect the cash flows of utilities, but if they back it by a back-to-back working capital arrangement from the bank, then eventually they get compensated. It's a kind of a win-win situation because utility also get their cash flows, as well as the regulator is able to kind of keep a tab on the tariff for some time to come. It doesn't give a knee-jerk reaction. So there's a better acceptability of payment. Then also there is a funding of ARR gap. Now what we mean by ARR is every year the utility has to go to the regulator, ask for the tariff, whatever is their cost they have incurred. Now from the time they file a petition and the time the tariff is announced, there is a gap in the time period. Now this gap again becomes an issue as to who fills this kind of a gap, and there has to be a market mechanism to finance this kind of a. So these are some, power sector has thrown open a lot of innovative areas of financing, and bankers have found a lot of value in financing these kind of products. So this is a uniqueness of power sector, particularly where a power sector has been transiting from a regulated economy or a political economy to a market-based economy. Apart from that, there is also an issue of deferred tax asset, because sometimes the electricity assets get taxed at the rate of, as per the provisions of accounting standards. They get depreciated as per provisions of accounting standard, and the taxation rate in the country would be different, which would be higher. So they can get a benefit of deferred tax asset, and which would create a cash flow mechanism which could be pledged, and a cash flow mechanism could be generated for the electricity utility. Another thing is that what happens that it's not always that a distribution utility is under cash flow deficit. There could be occasional spikes also, where you will find that there would be sudden cash inflows happening which you may not be immediately utilizing. And for that, it is necessary that the utility must have a very good flexible treasury management policy, so that they get benefit of the interest rate, and so that they can deploy their whatever treasury income is there in flexible products ranging from mutual funds to fixed deposits to commercial paper to commercial deposits. That is what, so it's good to have in place a very good investment policy, so that when market opportunity is there, they don't have to go to the board or they don't have to go to the investment committee to take approval. So all products are available, and whenever market situation, depending on the liquidity crunch in the economy, the treasury manager of the utility can take a call and he can make good money out of it. In fact, in our case, what we used to do is that we used to get 2% incentive for timely payment. And our working capital, that means it is translate into 24% per annum. And the working capital was available to us at 9%. So we were making 13% totally out of churning our capital. Your IRR can substantially improve only by the working capital management, because it's a sector which is totally dependent on working capital. Because 70-80% of expenditure, unlike any other sector of economy, where this kind of working capital is not required, in power sector, huge working capital required. So you can add 2 to 3% on IRR only by doing this kind of a cash flow management.
You're allowed to invest out of India or only inbound?
Sorry?
You're allowed to invest out of India or only inbound?
We are allowed to invest only in India. Yeah. As far as the treasury goes, long-term investments can be done outside India. Okay. Some of the new things which are happening in the economy now are that somebody mentioned about open access. India also is going to have open access. And if you look at the industrial tariffs in India, they are very good, unlike other countries. They are very good. And the industrial consumers are going to have direct access, and they can, so far they have been cross-subsidizing the other consumers. With open access, they would be able to, so a huge upside for making investments, because if you're supplying to an open access customer who's an industrial consumer, has a greater bankability and a very good tariff, it could provide a very good market. Another thing which has happened is that there used to be 2 to 3 years gap in your revision of tariff. Now orders, the policy directions are that tariff has to be done concurrently, immediately. So that risk also of the utilities is going to get reduced. Power exchanges is another development. In India, we have 2 power exchanges now operating. So if you have, as a distribution utility, if you have a back-to-back power purchase agreement, and there are seasonal variations, you have a good back-to-back, and because of seasonal variation, you find that the demand has fallen down. So you can use that whatever backup power purchase agreement you got, you can use it to sell power in the power exchange and make some quick money there. In power exchange, again, there is no time lag in collection. You get upfront payment. So it's a very good padding up for your revenue management and also making some margins there.